Are you looking for a simple TV and don't want to spend all kinds of money on a high model? We recently bought and tested the LG UP8000, which is one of those entry-level TVs you can get in 2021. It's pretty basic and doesn't offer many extra features, but it still offers okay overall performance. Hi, I'm Daigo, a tester at RTINGS.com, where we help you find the best products for your needs. If you're new to our channel, we are buying all of our products once they are out in the market, and we don't get units from the manufacturer. We have testers in our lab who spend a whole week intensively testing each TV so we can help you find the best TVs for your needs. Also, take note that we are trying out new formats in this video, so let us know what you think about it in the comments below. First, we'll look at the design of the TV and then move on to smart features. We'll summarize our verdict and then we'll look at the picture quality, motion handling, input, sound quality, and then we'll compare it to some competing TVs currently available. We bought the 65-inch LG UP8000 to test, but it is also available in sizes from 43 to 86 inches. However, we expect the 50, 60, and 70 inches models to perform differently because they have different panel types. The 82 and 86 inches are known as the UP8770 and are a bit different because they have a higher refresh rate and HDMI 2.1 support. If you'd like to skip straight to our test results, then see the link in the description below, or use the YouTube's chapters feature. Let's start off by looking at the design. The LG UP8000 looks a lot like past LG entry-level TVs. It's pretty basic with an all-plastic build and a simple back panel. Both the panel and the bezels are fairly thin, giving it a somewhat stylish look, so it should look nice in any setup. Their stands are made with metal feet and are set wide apart. If you get one of those larger sizes, you'll need a big table to place it on. The back of the TV is pretty plain and the plastic does not have any texture design or anything. A couple of the inputs are side-facing, but there are some that are back-facing, so wires might stick out if you wall mount it. If you choose to, the VESA size is 300 x 300. There isn't much for cable management, but there are two clips where you can put your cables through. Overall, the UP8000 is fairly well built. It's mainly plastic except for the metal feet. It's fairly sturdy, but the back panel flexes quite easily, especially near the VESA mounting holes. Our unit wobbles a bit, but that also could be because it's so big. To know more about inputs, stick around for the input section later in the video. Before we move on to the verdict, let's look at smart features. LG released a redesigned version of the WebOS Smart Platform for 2021. Instead of the banner at the bottom, you get a full screen page where you can see all of your apps and streaming services. It's easy to use and the interface feels fairly smooth for the most part. Sadly, like most modern TVs, there are ads in the App Store and homepage, and there's no way to disable them. As part of the redesigned WebOS interface, LG also released a new remote this year. It has the same functionalities as their classic Magic Remote, but it's somewhat flat instead of the curved shape we saw in past years. You can use it like a traditional remote with the navigation buttons. You can also use it like a Wii remote with point and press. There are also a few more shortcut buttons at the bottom to Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, Disney Plus, and the App Store. You have access to both Google Assistant and Amazon Alexa through the voice control with this TV. There's a microphone in the remote and you can ask it to change settings, search for content, or even ask for the weather. Open YouTube. Open HDMI 1. What's the weather in New York? Before we get into some of the measurements from our testers, let's talk about how it performs. It's an okay overall TV. There's nothing really special that stands out about it. And there are some more versatile options available in this price range, like from Hisense and TCL. However, this is a good TV if you watch content with several people, as it has wide viewing angles. It's also good if you're going to use it as a PC monitor because the edges won't look washed out if you sit close. The LG UP8000 is a subpar TV for watching both movies in SDR and HDR, standard or high dynamic range. Blacks look gray when viewing in the dark because it has a low contrast ratio and it doesn't have local dimming features to improve the picture quality in dark scenes. On top of that, it can't make highlights stand out in HDR content the way that the creator intended it. HDR is an imaging technique that captures, processes, and reproduces content in such a way that details of both the shadowing and the highlights of a scene are increased. This means that images look more similar to what is seen to the human eye when compared to SDR images. To learn more about HDR and SDR, check out our article here. The UP8000 is good for watching sports and TV. You'll enjoy the easy-to-use smart features. While its reflection handling is good, it doesn't get very bright, which means that glare might be a problem. If you intend to game on this TV, just know that it is limited to a 60 Hz refresh rate. It doesn't have extra gaming features like variable refresh rate support. However, it still has a low input lag and a good response time that make motions look smooth. The LG UP8000 is okay for gaming in HDR. Like we just mentioned, it does have a low input lag and a good response time for a responsive gaming experience. However, it doesn't get very bright in HDR and has a low contrast ratio, so colors aren't that vivid as they should be in HDR. It's also able to display proper chroma 444 subsampling. Chroma subsampling is a type of signal that helps improve text clarity when you're using it as a PC monitor. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty, if you enjoy our content, please make sure you subscribe to our channel for the latest videos and check out our website for the full review and more. By subscribing, you are helping us reach a wider audience and in turn help you find the best products for your needs. Also, visit our product deal page on our website, link below. You'll find all available sizes from our affiliates presented in a convenient way. Let's talk about the picture quality now. One of the most important parts of picture quality is the contrast ratio, which is the difference between the brightest whites and the darkest blacks. The 65-inch model we tested has an IPS-like panel, which are known for the low contrast ratio, and this one is no exception. Blacks look great when viewing in the dark, so it is not that good for watching movies. Sadly, this TV does not have local dimming feature to improve the contrast either. Keep in mind the 50, 60, and 70-inch models have VA panels, so they should have much higher contrast. Looking at the SCR brightness, it's nothing special either. This is important if you're going to use the TV in a well-lit room. We measured a brightness of about 270 nits, and luckily, brightness doesn't vary between content, which is good. This TV has good reflection handling too, and should get bright enough to fight some glare from dim lights. But it is not good enough for really bright rooms. Even with direct light on it, the reflection can be distracting. Now onto HDR brightness, which is important if you tend to watch HDR movies and you want highlights to pop. Sadly, the UP8000 doesn't get much brighter in HDR than in SDR. We measured a brightness of about 300 nits, so it is not enough to deliver a true HDR experience, but this is somewhat expected from an entry-level TV. In the HDR game mode, it gets a bit brighter than regular HDR picture mode. Once again, this TV fails to make highlights pop in HDR games. Looking at the screen's uniformity, it's alright. Having a uniform screen is important if you're going to use it as a PC monitor when you have larger areas of the same color, like a web page. For our unit, the edges are visibly darker and there's dirty screen effect in the center, which could especially get distracting when watching sports. As for the black uniformity, it's pretty mediocre. The entire screen looks blue because of the low contrast ratio and there's noticeable blacklight bleed along the edges. This is visible when you're watching dark scenes with bright highlights, like in movies. Keep in mind that uniformity can vary from unit to unit. One of the advantages of this TV is its wide viewing angles. ADS panels, which is the technology used in this panel, are known for their wide viewing angles, so the images remain accurate when viewing from the side. You might start to notice that the screen looks darker at really wide angles only. Also, keep in mind that the VA panel on the 50, 60, and 70-inch models would have narrower viewing angles. For most people, color accuracy is pretty important. Out of the box, the UP8000 has a decent accuracy. You won't be able to see any inaccuracies with most colors. However, white balance is a bit off, so shades of gray don't appear as they should. The color temperature is also much colder than our testing target, so the image has a blue tint out of the box. However, out-of-the-box accuracy can vary between units, so your experience might be different. If you want to learn more about our settings, check out our settings page on our website. Now, let's take a look at the color gamut, which is the range of colors the TV can display for HDR content. Sadly, the UP8000 can't display a wide color gamut, so some colors in HDR won't look like they're supposed to. This is pretty much expected for a budget TV. Also, this means it has poor color volume, which is represented on how well the TV can display colors at different shades. Because it has a low contrast, a low peak brightness, and it doesn't have a wide color gamut, it can't really display darks and bright colors as well. Now let's look at the motion handling, and we'll start with the response time. The response time is how fast the pixel can change from one color to the next, and this affects the appearance of motion. The UP8000 has a good response time, which is a pleasant surprise. Motion looks pretty smooth for the most part, but you still may see a bit of motion blur. There's a bit of an overshoot in darker transitions, which could lead to some artifacts in dark scenes. If you tend to watch lower frame rate content, like movies, this TV can interpolate 30 FPS content up to 60 FPS. This is known as the soap opera effect. It works in slow scenes without much action, but when there's a lot of fast-moving content, you'll see some artifacts and screen tearing, which could get distracting. If you don't like that, you don't need to enable the settings. Play with it to find what pleases you most. Another way to improve the appearance of motion with lower frame rate content is by removing 24p judder. This is especially important for watching movies which are filmed in 24 FPS. Luckily, the UP8000 can remove 24p judder from any source, even if it's coming from a 60p source like a streaming device. This is rare for a 60Hz TV to do so it is a nice touch. You can learn more about judder here. For the UP8000, any of the models from 43 to 75 inches are limited to 60Hz panels and don't support variable refresh rate for gaming. However, the 82 and the 86-inch models are advertised to have 120Hz panels, but we don't know if they have VRR support. Before we show you the actual inputs, let's talk about the input lag. This is important for gaming because you get minimum delay before your action appears on the screen. LGs are known for the low input lag in game mode, and this TV is no exception. It's low enough for even the most serious of gamers. LG has released a new prevent input delay setting with their 2021 TVs, which is meant to further decrease the input lag, but the option is grayed out on our TV and is likely only available on the 82 and 86-inch models. The UP8000 displays almost any common resolution up to 4K at 60Hz. It displays 1440p at 60Hz signal, but only if you force a custom resolution from the PC. It can also display proper chroma 444 on all supported resolutions, which is important when you're reading fine text when you're using it as a PC monitor. For it to do so, make sure the input you're using is set to PC. As part of our test bench 1.6 updates, we're also checking to see whether or not the TV supports the new PS5 and Xbox Series X. It supports up to 4K at 60Hz on either console, and there's even auto low latency that automatically switches the TV into game mode when a game from a compatible device is launched. Our Xbox says the TV supports 1080p at 120Hz content, but it doesn't work and it skips frames. We expect the 82 and 86-inch models to support up to 4K at 120Hz, so if you have those models, let us know what it supports. If we look at the inputs on the side, there are two HDMI inputs, a USB port, and a tuner. On the back, there's another HDMI and a USB port, and there's also an optical digital audio output and an Ethernet port. All three HDMI inputs are HDMI 2.0, and the 82 and the 86-inch models are advertised to have the new HDMI 2.1 instead. Looking at what the TV supports in terms of HDR format, it only supports HDR10 and basic HLG, but not HDR10 Plus or Dolby Vision. This is a bit disappointing, but somewhat expected because its HDR performance isn't anything special either. Luckily, the UP8000 has eARC support on HDMI 2. This allows you to pass high-quality audio through a compatible receiver, like a soundbar, over a single HDMI connection. It supports Dolby Digital audio formats, but not DTS. Let's quickly talk about the speaker quality if you're not going to use a sound system. Like most TVs in 2021, there's nothing special about the built-in speakers. They don't produce much bass, but they should sound good enough for most people watching TV or playing some video games. There's also some distortion when playing content at its max volume, but not everyone may hear it. Like always, if you want the best sound experience, we suggest you getting a soundbar or a surround sound setup. Since we're still early in the 2021 TV season, we haven't tested many entry-level TVs like this one. We tested the Sony X80J, which has a similar panel type and performs like the UP8000. But if you want to compare it to other 2021 TVs as we buy and test them, check out our table tool linked here where you can compare our usage scores. Play with it. So that's it. What do you think of the LG UP8000? Is this TV going to be on your must-buy list? Let us know below. Also, we are a growing company and are expanding in other product categories. As a result, we are currently hiring in our offices in Montreal for various positions. So if you want to help people find the best products for their needs, have a look at our career page linked below. You can check out all of our measurements on our website. While you are there, you can also become an insider for early access to our latest results. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel. So that's it. Thank you for watching and see you next time.